All right, good afternoon. We'd like to welcome defending champion of the Genesis Invitational, Ludvig Aberg. Welcome, Ludvig. You're back to defend your title, but at a different golf course this year. How does that affect your prep in defending a title?
Yeah, it's a little different. Obviously, defending champion, but it wasn't as at this golf course, which just makes it a little bit different. Obviously, I was here 2 years ago and got to see the golf course for the first time, and it's cool to be back. I was telling Joe, my caddy, before the year started, it's like I'm really looking forward to Riv because it's a great golf course, and I just haven't seen it in a while, so it's fun to be here.
And can we get some comments on your favorite memory from your win last year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole week is really cool and really special, but I think when I look back, there's a few shots that I think of when sort of on the back nine trying to win the golf tournament on Sunday. That kind of stands out. But yeah, overall it was just very cool.
Awesome. All right, we'll open it up to questions. If you have a question, you raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. We'll go over here to Paul.
Ludvig, you obviously had to withdraw from Amex, kind of getting your feet back under you. How much is the illness factored? Was that just a 1 week thing, or has that kind of persisted for you through the start of the year?
Yeah, it was a little annoying early in the season. Obviously felt fine first couple of days at American Express, and actually very similar to what I had about a year ago at Torrey, where I just woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm not going to get into details, but it wasn't pretty. And yeah, just kind of been bugging me a little bit since. I've obviously been in contact with doctors, and we're sort of doing some gut health investigation, if you will. And yeah, I do feel much better now than I did back then, which is obviously positive. But I think we're going to run some more tests.
Obviously, probably not the way you wanted to start the season. So how have you gone about assessing what's happened so far? Are you kind of putting that, hey, dealing with some stuff, I'll figure it out later?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a constant sort of learning process in terms of what you like and what you don't like. And obviously had a long off season with a bunch of time to work on things. And I felt like I improved in a lot of areas, but I also felt like obviously coming out again playing tournaments, there were some parts missing, and some parts that definitely needed to keep improving and keep getting better. And yeah, you know, I love playing tournaments because that's when it really shows up. I feel like good players, they can manipulate it on the range, they can sort of manipulate it on the practice round or whatever, but when you get in a tournament setting, that's when it shows up. And you know, I think a few things showed up for me that I've learned from, and hopefully I can sort of apply that going forward.
We'll go to Doug.
Two things. Firstly, most important, are you watching much of the Olympics? And if you were not a golfer, what would be your best chance at medaling in the games? In the
Winter Olympics? Yeah, I've actually been watching quite a bit. Obviously, the time difference is a little tricky. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a good skater. I'm not a good skier. I don't know.
Were you good at anything?
No. No, not winter sports wise.
Did you not do anything as a kid?
No, in the South where I grew up in Sweden, the winters aren't crazy, so we don't get tons of snow. We don't, winter sports is kind of when you go further up north in Sweden. But it was always on TV. I remember, weekends it was always, cross country skiing, and I love watching it. But I can't do it.
Fair enough. And then a lot of talk this week about number 3. Number 4, the par 3. What did you think of the lengthened tee box, and how did you play it today?
Yeah, I teed it off early this morning. I teed off at 7:30, so I got there probably around 8-ish, maybe just past 8. And the ball isn't going very far at that time in the morning, so I mean, I think it was 225 meters hole with 250 yards-ish, and it's a strong golf hole. And the tricky part when, obviously the greens are soft now, but the kikuyu is always soft, so when you land it off the green, it kind of just sits, and then when the greens gets firm and you land it on, it kind of goes away. And I remember talking about that last year as well, or 2 years ago, when we were hitting 4 or 5 irons, and it's a long hole. It's definitely a tricky one, and par is definitely a good score on that hole.
We'll go back to Paul, and then we got Jeff over here.
Ludvig,
Over here.
you mentioned a couple trying to work on things in the off season. If you care to share, what were some of the kind of things as you maybe looked at stats or just kind of reflected on the year that you felt like you needed to improve?
Yeah, I definitely felt like, going off of last year, obviously we all use stats in terms of knowing where you are and kind of using that as a tool to get better. I felt like I wanted to improve my putting stats quite significantly. I moved into a new putter with a different head, with less loft on it to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit faster. And it's been nice. It's been good. But at times it kind of comes off a little bit faster than I'm used to. And I'm sort of getting used to that a little bit, especially like putting and sort of inside 15 feet. But and then obviously the swing, you're always trying to figure out the swing. You're always trying to find and know what works best for you. And I think for me, I've learned a lot over the last couple of months and probably the last 12 months of what really works for me, or more importantly, maybe what doesn't work for me. So that's been one of the fun things for me over the last couple of months.
I think we've seen you test a couple of different putters, maybe just in practice or just around. Are you sticking with that one that you've kind of were working on with the off season, or are you still kind of mulling what you want to use long term?
Yeah, I mean, I have one that I've been using now since just before Christmas, I think, and it's the same head that I've sort of always used, just a blade, soft insert. But yeah, obviously, we're always trying to improve. We're always trying to. There's nothing set in stone. There's nothing that this is the way it's going to be for the rest of my life. I don't know, but yeah, we're definitely trying to figure those things out.
All right, we'll go to Jeff.
Ludvig, just wondering, with Riviera celebrating 100 years this year, just wondering what characteristics of this golf course have helped it kind of stand the test of time over years?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best golf courses we play all year. Obviously, it's a small property. It's not crazy long. Obviously, you'll have some strong holes and some longer par fours. But what I like about it is obviously a hole like number 10 kind of, puts the stamp on this golf course in terms of working the angles, fast greens, and kind of everything going down towards the oceans really quick. And you have to place your second shots into the greens. And I think that's the part about this golf course that I really like. And that's why you'll see a lot of different good kind of players winning here. And then, yeah, we don't play Kikuya very often. That kind of chipping grass and is a little bit different. And the rough is a little bit different. But, yeah, and obviously in the heart of Los Angeles, too.
We'll go right here in the front.
Ludvig, I wanted to ask about the putter thing. You mentioned you're still rocking a blade. It seems like a lot of the top players in the world are going to the mallet. Scotty, pretty famously. Do you feel like a pull towards the mallet at all? Do you mess around with the mallet at all, or are you kind of sticking with the blade? You're kind of the last of a dying breed, it seems like.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, I think I saw something about every top 10 player in the world is using a mallet this time, and is mallet a dying, thing in golf? Maybe, I don't know. A blade is sort of all I know. It's all I've ever known. So for me, as long as the ball comes out the way I want to, that's the most important thing. And obviously we do testing in the Quintec machines and everything else to sort of see face angles and feet and see how the ball's coming out. And that was one of the main reasons why I made the switch to a less loft head, to kind of see it come out a little bit faster and a little bit better. And yeah, some guys like the mallet, some guys, like the blade, but I'm pretty pleased where I am.
We'll go back right, and then Doug.
Sorry to belabor the whole putting topic, but you brought it up. The stat at the end of the year, when you looked at your numbers, I'm curious, what was the stat that interested you most? And I don't know if you're aware, but ShotLink now is going to be able to track left to right, right to left stuff. I'm wondering if you have any interest in that when that as the season progresses.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that, but that's a pretty cool addition. Yeah, obviously we use strokes gained putting. That's the one that I use the most. I think that's the most accurate one, obviously relative to the field. And I felt like, if you look at a player who wants to win tournaments, putting is an important part of that. And everyone's not always going to hit it perfect, but if you can sort of obviously be more consistent putting than I've been over the last sort of year, that's going to gain you a lot. So, yeah, we made conscious effort of trying to improve that. And the tricky thing about putting is it's the most volatile, part of the game in terms of the stats. So you might not see improvement right away. You might not see it sort of day one, but hopefully over time, that's what we're going to be able to see.
Doug?
Just curious, did you go to the player meeting yesterday?
No, I did not.
Okay. Have you been to a player meeting before?
Yes, I went to the one in Travelers last year.
Good. Okay. Just curious, given this being only your third, full year on tour, do you feel like you have a voice in anything going forward? And do you think at your age you should have one?
Yeah, yes and no. I think, ultimately there are guys that are a lot more experienced than me, a lot smarter than me in terms of those political decisions, I guess. When I first came out here a couple of years ago, I remember my first week was Canadian Open, and that was when the whole kind of merger thing went down. And there was a player meeting I didn't go to at the time because it was literally my first day at the job. And I felt like there's a lot more players and people that can kind of make better decisions than me. But yeah, ultimately, the more time you spend out here, the more you kind of be aware of what's going on and become aware of what's happening. Do I have an opinion on certain things? Yeah, I think so. But I also feel like, us players, I think I trust the players on the board, obviously, and I think they do a great job and, in terms of those things.
Have you ever shared your opinion with anyone?
Yeah, me and Joe, we talk about things all the time. But not in an official setting.
You want to do it now?
No, I prefer not to.
All right, that's all the time that we have. Thank you, and good luck this week.
Thank you.